You don't rise to your ambitions and goals. You fall to your standards. That's a famous quote that I wouldn't say famous, but that's a quote I got from this guy named Brandon Carter on YouTube. And honestly, it just makes so much sense. This is why I think goals and ambitions are fucking dead. You see, I don't even like goals and ambitions, at least not anymore. In the past, I definitely did. In the past, I always thought, oh man, I want to have this goal, that goal. I want to be really ambitious and get here, there, or whatever. But then I realized the truth about life. Guys, life is not about achieving goals and ambitions. Life is all about improvement and maintenance. You see, guys, we're told by society to have goals. And what for many people, their people's goal is to be happy. And at first you think, oh yeah, being happy it makes sense or whatever, right? But really think about it. Can you always be happy? Will you always be happy? All the time, every second of the day? No. So really, happiness in itself isn't a sustainable state. It's a feeling, it's a fleeting one. It comes and it goes. And in life itself, guys, life is constant until you die. Everything just keeps going and going. The sun rises in the morning and then goes away at night and then rises again. And you get to see it all the time, normally, until you die, right? So when you have a goal and an ambition, what happens to many people is they reach a goal and then they say, what now? And the reason why this happens is because when we set our eyes on a goal and an ambition we want to achieve, when we finally get there, we're kind of like, okay, like we're here. Now what? So isn't this because this has probably already happened to you before, and it doesn't mean you have to do you've had to have done some extreme goal before. It could be a really simple goal for you, like getting an A on a test. Like cool, but it's like what now? Because that's what life is, guys. Life is constant discontentment. Life is constantly moving forward. And that's why I say fuck goals. You need to have standards for your life. That's why I started this video with that quote. Because ultimately, it's not about my goal is to have an aesthetic physique and to be muscular. It's I will be nothing less than being muscular and having an aesthetic physique. Because ultimately, in our lives, the shit we want to do has to be continuously maintained. And that's where the idea of a standard comes in. That's why you can't just like rise to a goal because you can even, this is an example I think would be really easy for you guys to understand. Like, think about a professional athlete or someone who has dreamed to be a professional athlete, moreover. You see, they've dedicated so much time, energy, effort, and sacrifice to becoming a professional athlete. But what happens to many people who become professional athletes, once they get that contract, their career goes right in the drain. They stay for 1 year, they either lose their professional status, don't really go on to do anything great as a pro, drink, party, smoke, do a ton of shit that they weren't doing when they were trying to be a professional because they had a goal mindset instead of a standard. Instead of it being, I will be nothing less than a professional, it was, I'll just be a professional. And then the minute they got it, they forgot that life goes on, my friend. Shit is shit. You have to sustain shit. You don't achieve shit, you sustain it. Because for many of those fallen athletes, bro, they got there and it's not like they thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this shit and then I'm not gonna have to do shit else. No, they still have to fight for their contract. They still have to stay on the team. They still have to show up to workouts. They still have to, in fact, they have to probably do more shit. Their standards probably have to increase once they got to the goal to stay there. But since they had a goal oriented mindset, they didn't really understand how life works. They got complacent, they got comfortable, and they fucked it all up. They lost what they had worked so hard to achieve, so hard for so long to achieve. They lost it because for some reason in their mind, for some reason in my mind in the past, and for some reason in your mind, we have accepted the way society makes us think that, oh, we should have goals instead of standards. We should be seeking to maintain and sustain shit, not just achieve shit, bro. You don't want to just achieve shit. You want to do shit and keep it. That's why you don't rise to your ambition, man. You fall to your standards. Because there can even be another example of this. Like, think about it. If you have this really, really high ass goal, but if you're like, well, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. But if you look at what your current standards are, like, it's like, oh man, I want to be a professional football player, but you only train like once a week. Do you think you're going to become a professional football player? Some people think they will, but ultimately their standards are not matching what it takes. So they won't even get the shit that they want. Because they're not willing to maintain the level of discipline, effort, and practice that it takes to reach that status. So how the fuck are you going to get it? And let alone think about it. Even if they did get it, they'd be happy, but they'd lose that shit instantly. Why? Because their standards are not what it needs to be to maintain it. So guys, honestly, in my opinion, and what I think you should do is fuck goals, fuck ambitions, have standards. For the shit that you want to achieve in your life, stop thinking about it as a goal or an ambition. Think of it as a standard. I will be nothing less than whatever you want to achieve is. You'll be nothing less than it. Because when you set that standard, you reach it and then you maintain it and sustain it. And you can then increase your standard more and more the more you want to achieve. That way, you actually fit into reality. Because the reality is, shit goes on until you die. Guys, the problems never stop. The trials and tribulations never fucking stop. So you can't stop either. Ever. Until you die. That's how you actually live a fulfilling life. Don't bullshit yourself with goals and ambitions. Have standards instead.